Watch and burn.
Hey everybody, so I want to make another quick video. This is just another question I had regarding a movie that I love, and this time, of course, obviously, it's Independence Day. My question is simply, why didn't they bother interpreting the Morse code that the aliens sent at the very start of the movie? It was like the first thing I figured out after seeing the movie back in the 90s when I saw it. A buddy of mine, his dad was in the military, and his dad was like, you know, that's signaling out the word die, right? And back then, we had no way of really verifying this shit, so we just sort of took our elders' words for things. Well, as it turns out, he was telling the truth because the Morse code specifically punches out D-I-E. Of course, the internet has cleared that up a bunch of years later, but nevertheless, yeah, my buddy's dad told me that way back when, and I'm like, I know he knows what he's talking about, so why didn't the military in this, who the American military are shown to be so, like, able and so in control, and they're so, like, commanding, and they have everything figured out, and I believe the American military's power in this movie. It's one of my favorite parts of this movie, is just how the American military is portrayed. So, yeah, like, why didn't they decode the Morse code at the start? It spells die. Because for the first 45 minutes of the movie, President Bill Pullman is saying things like, we don't actually know what the aliens want. We don't know if they want conflict or whatnot. We don't know, so we got to stay cool. But had they just paid attention to the Morse code at the very beginning, they would know that they weren't cool, and they want us to D-I-E. So, I'm not knocking this movie in any way. I fucking love this movie. The aliens were terrifying. The ships breaking off from the mothership and positioning themselves all around the world, and with the countdown, and oh my god, everybody's performances in this movie was fucking perfect. But I just don't get why they didn't decode the Morse code at the start. But then that also leads me into another question I have, is since the aliens have been studying us for years, like Randy Quaid points out, he was one of the abductees that nobody believed. They know all of our weaknesses, so they clearly understand Morse code. And they are, again, very clearly way more advanced than we are. So considering that the movie ends, we defeat them by organizing what's left of all the military's air forces around the world. We organize them via Morse code to go out and battle again with the aliens once Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith have fed the mothership the virus that knocks down all of the smaller ships' shield capabilities. So it's almost like the aliens were like foreshadowing, like, we know you're going to use Morse code at the end to defeat us, so we're going to send it to you at the start. But why didn't the aliens just figure out it was Morse code and take care of it? They know everything about us. So Morse code's like one of the first things we ever did as far as like long-range communication is concerned, I think, right? Unless I got that wrong. Maybe I got that wrong. But I think I'm right. I think Morse code is one of the first things we came up with. It was like, holy shit, we can transmit this anywhere, and it's quick and it's easy. So you think if they knew that, they'd know us. And if they knew us, they'd know Morse code, and they'd decode the Morse code, and they'd know that our ships were going, I mean, our planes and everything were going here and there, and blah, 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 blah. I always thought that was kind of weird too. But that is it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for just about 3.5 minutes while I asked this odd question about a kick-ass movie that came out way back in the mid-90s. Thank you for hanging out with me. You guys are amazing, and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.